Hello, it's me, CGD. The time is 17:15. The date 28th of the 7th, 2010. This piece, in part, I will call alleged connections, chance meetings, people in passing, not what you call friends, acquaintances, contacts. 30th of April, the year 2009, it was either 30th or the 29th, I attended the Ministry of Sound. It was to be a very sad night for me. It was a late belated birthday and it turned into a nightmare. But I've overcome that problem. But prior to that night, I used to go to the ministry quite a lot. And on one occasion when I was there, I bumped into a so-called well-known geezer. You know, people have various opinions of him. My personal opinion of him, he thinks he's a joker. He thinks he's one of the boys. He thinks he's the big boy. But that's what he is, a big boy. He's a prankster, you know, one of those pranksters, South East London, East London gangsters. Anyway, his name's Dave Courtney. And I saw him now. I went over, just very briefly, said hello, how are you, you know, and just left it there. Really, just acknowledged him. It's the thought of HMP Brixton Prison, its prison officers, and this is a pure fabrication. I don't know where they get these thoughts from. That I know Mr. Courtney very well. I don't. I've seen him here and there, and he's probably seen me here and there, but he won't remember me, but I remember him. There's an issue with Mr. Courtney about a distant friend, but that's in the past, and I'm not going to discuss that because a police officer went to jail for that, and Mr. Courtney remains free. That's criminal justice for you. But he's not the only person I bumped into here and there. You know, there are other people, not so well known. It's alleged that a friend of mine, I won't mention names for legal reasons, has bumped into Michael Caine. No, sorry, not Michael Caine, Michael Douglas, I apologise. And in a restaurant, nothing unusual about that. If you mix in those circles, you're going to meet people like that. But it's alleged that this person, not Michael Douglas, the other person, is what you might call old school, you know, staunch, you know, one of the serious men, you know, and it's all these tenuous, you know, connections that HMP Brixton Prison are trying to bring together, trying to embarrass other people, you know, for their so-called misdemeanours. Now, there's no evidence for any criminal indictment. Why the hell are HMP Brixton Prison feeding me all this bullshit to start with? You know, they're not that bright. But the problem with HMP Brixton Prison, its prison officers, is that one, they've targeted me because they believe I'm so well connected to people in crime that they want to bring all these people that I'm in connection to justice. They believe that they can use me to fabricate, fit up, set up, and frame people. It's people, you know, people. They can see through this sort of charade, these sort of mind games that, you know, HMP Brixton Prison and their thoughts or my thoughts have been converted into audio, or what I say is recorded into audio. Because we're in two different locations, they think that people won't believe it, but we all know about the satellites and how I've been hooked up, and that's nothing new. That's all old school. What is more frightening is the connections they believe and the offences they believe these people may have been involved in. I can't prove that. I was never there, so how would I know? You know, do these people talk to me in confidence and tell me about their criminality? If that is the case, then it was a secret I'm keeping close to my chest, and no one else should know. And if people robbed that information from my mind or manipulated me into saying things that I shouldn't be, there's going to be serious problems. One of the problems with HMP Brixton Prison and its prison officers is that they're obsessed with killing. They're obsessed with crime. They're obsessed with me, my family, my friends. Um, they are literally hooked on the rush of using the equipment they're using, these weapons of mass destruction, these weapons of death penalties, these communication systems that they use to, not only rob and extort information from me under physical, emotional, financial, um, and mental duress, but physical, most definitely. That's the prominent feature, apart from the communication system side of things. They get a buzz when I do certain things, like I say to them, "What's this in my hand?" And they go, "Go on, what's that?" And I say, "I'm crumbling it up." And they go, "Go on, what are you doing?" "Oh, yeah." "Well, what do you think it is I'm crumbling up?" And they turn around and say, "Cannabis, resin." And I turn around and say, "It's an oxo cube." Now they're really deflated. One minute they're on a real high, and like next second I'm not stuffing out of them. These people are jokers. They honestly think, that people give up this information willingly. It's an extortion. It's not quite blackmail in the traditional sense where you pay money for something. These people are robbing your mind, your consciousness, your body, and it's a manipulation of your thoughts. And because they're converted into audio and words, they use that, and no one's supposed to know about it. But it's only a rumour and a whisper. It's getting out. Anyway, in turn, because they are hooked on the rush of this, it produces a certain amount of morphine and adrenaline in their system, and they live for this experience. It turns them on. They actually get a buzz. It's a bit like, how can I say, you're in a gym and like you started working out and you're starting to see some definition in you, and then you go for it like mad. It's the same process. You release the endorphins, which produces the morphine, which produces the adrenaline for you to keep pumping, and it's that experience. Now these prison officers can't claim that because they're not exactly in the fittest of shapes, and the ones that might allegedly claim to be in the gym wouldn't be in there regular enough to be experience this feelings and sensations like that on a regular basis. They feed off using this technology, and it's that moment they live for and the feeling of what they live for. And this proves a guilty mind and guilty thought that they're manually hands-on in trying to manipulate people and extort information and fit up and set up and frame up everyone else. Apologies to Dave C and MD. Thank you.